This is the Niner Fanatic podcast, and Super Bowl was yesterday. I know 49ers weren't a part of it, but we're still going to talk about it anyway because it is the NFL and it is what it is. But first, before we get to any of that, let's just hit the music. Hey, what's going on, Niner fan? Once again, it is Peter Lucas. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast. Make sure you give me a like. Make sure you give me a subscribe. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends every week. We will be doing a few different shows this week. But of course, we talking about, like I said in the beginning, we're talking about the Super Bowl. And even though the Niners weren't a part of it, still the Niners are a part of it because what was the media talking about like the all week was we were talking about how the 49ers couldn't let their loss to the Eagles go and that they were still talking 49ers were still chirping, even though I just want to bring this up because I heard a lot of people say, oh, they should just let it go, they should just leave, they lost, go away, like that kind of stuff, and they should just be quiet about it. You know what? They were asked questions. They were asked questions. I don't know what people expect from these guys, but I mean, every time they're asked that question, it's got to hit them some kind of way, knowing that they were so close and that they had a shot at beating the Eagles. But yeah, so like I was just talking about, so Super Bowl happens, Chiefs win it, not to be anticlimactic, but I can't say that I wasn't hoping that the Chiefs won this one because it honestly it was as much as the Eagles fans and the Eagles players were talking about the 49ers all week and about what they were saying, it just made them less and less likable for me. So I was rooting for, even though I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs either because they beat us in the Super Bowl. I mean, the Eagles' wound was fresh. So I was definitely going for the Chiefs in this one. And thankfully, and I thought that the Chiefs, I said in I think a couple of my shows last week that I thought the Chiefs had a really good chance on winning that game because I thought that the thing that people weren't talking about, everybody was talking about the Eagles offensive line and the Eagles defensive line and how they get after the quarterback. No one was talking, and I said this last week. You can go back and check it out. But no one was talking about the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line and the fact that those guys do a great job of keeping Pat Mahomes clean for the most part. And I thought they did a really good job. And part of it is Mahomes makes those reads and he makes those plays in general that just, I mean, it's gonna make your offensive line look good, right? So, but the Chiefs beat the Eagles 38-35, and honestly, it could have been more. I felt like it could have been more. I felt like the Eagles really were. They did. I would say this: they didn't play their best game. It was a great game to watch, but I thought that they gave the Chiefs multiple opportunities to come in and just kind of blow the doors off. But to their credit, their offense was kind of keeping. They got a few, and I mean, I don't want to say lucky plays, but basically, he just threw it up there. Hertz just threw it up there. One of those throws was really nice. One of them I still feel like wasn't a catch. As far as the one to Goddard, but the one to AJ Brown was just a great play by him. I thought that the defenders really misplayed that ball altogether because he was in double coverage, and to let that get through, I thought that was a little ridiculous. I don't think it was a special throw by him or anything. It was just uh, AJ Brown just made a really good play on the ball, and that's really what it came down to. But uh, oh, appreciate you. Bebop came in like appreciate you. I got this from the Javi Vega. Like I won one of his he was having a not a raffle, but it was like we were giving our mock drafts a couple of years ago, and yeah, he and I won this off a Javi Vegas show. So but yeah, like I love the show. I love the hat too. Like shout out to Javi. Hopefully Javi comes back, starts giving us content on a regular basis. I used to love his show. And we do miss you if you're watching. But yeah, back to the Super Bowl. It was just Pat Mahomes. I mean, they tried to rip his ankle off, and I thought that was going to be a wrap when he came back to the sideline grimacing, and I thought they were gonna take him out of the game. But I mean, to that guy's credit, he is something else. I don't know what they shot him up with in at halftime, but it almost didn't even look like he was hurt at all when he came back out. So I mean, kudos to Pat Mahomes is just a beast. I mean, I'm a Niner fan, but you got to appreciate like the greatness. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. I mean, by far. I mean, it's a really easy conversation, in my opinion. I don't think there's anybody that's even close to him. And not that Jalen Hurts had a bad game per se. Uh, I thought like his stats. I mean, a little inflated just because the touchdowns. I mean, they were quarterback sneaks, and and like there was a lot of quarterback sneaks getting. And I'm sure everybody was talking about it today. The whole play of having guys push him forward on quarterback sneaks. A lot of people were saying that they're probably going to look at that in the off season. The league is and try and take that play out, like and not allow that to keep happening. And I tweeted out at the time. I said, oh, so you mean that the Eagles aren't going to make the Super Bowl again? Because they were going four down. Everything was four downs, and if they got close within like a yard or two, they're going to go for it, and they're going to push. They're going to push Hurts forward for that first down. So, but kudos to both teams. They both were there, and but I thought a very interesting part about the thing that everybody was bringing up in the moment was that there was a play where they had their third string tight end or second string. I think it was Noah Gray, but he actually had to block Hassan Reddick, and so everybody came out the woodwork saying, "Oh, see, they had a third round or a third string tight end blocking Hassan Reddick. Like, so see, it wasn't that bad of a play by Shanny. Look, everybody. That I would say this. If you're comparing, you've got to understand the fact that Brock Purdy was a seventh round rookie. No matter how much college experience he had, he is not Pat Mahomes. I don't expect I really don't expect Purdy to make the same plays and same reads as a Pat Mahomes. And not to say that I didn't agree with the play call. I said on my last week's show, I think that's those types of plays and play actions. That's going to come with Shanny. That's going to come with his offense, and you have to take the good with the bad sometimes. The Purdy didn't make a play in that moment. I think Shanny was expecting him with that, Shanny's ego and all, was expecting Purdy to step up in the pocket, was expecting Purdy to throw the ball a tick earlier. Wouldn't have even, because in his mind, it wouldn't have even been an issue if that happens. So, I mean, Purdy still would have probably took a shot, but he probably wouldn't have gotten hit exactly like he did, and he probably wouldn't have gotten hurt. So it is what it is. But here we are, and I'm still talking about the 49ers during while talking about the Super Bowl somehow. But it's what I learned from that Super Bowl. Uh, what I learned from that Super Bowl was that the 49ers could beat either one of those teams. That's what I really took from that game. I thought that they could beat the I think that the 49ers could beat the Chiefs because that is a much better I think that they're a better defense than Phillies. Phillies could not stop the run. They ran the ball, the Chiefs, and I think that they actually caught the Eagles off guard a little with how much they ran the ball. I think they were expecting Pat Mahomes to throw it 40, 50 times, and that was not what happened. They ran the ball a whole bunch of times, and they ended up with like 150 rushing, but yeah, they used the run way more, and they didn't have as much time of possession either, so that affects how many throws Pat Mahomes had. But I would say that from the look, and I'm sorry the way my my screen is it's freezing up, but the the internet has just been crazy. But I'm hoping that you guys can still hear me. But what I'm gonna say is that we like I think that the 49ers matched up well against Chiefs, and that it might have been a different story. Now, people might say, why are we even talking about this? The reason why I'm talking about these were the two best teams in the league. So looking next season, the 49ers don't have far to go. They need a healthy quarterback. That's what they need. And if they can get a healthy quarterback, I don't think that they are far from that. And that's why I didn't want people to lose it over over the 49ers losing the season the way that they did. We shouldn't just scrap everything and try something different. Get rid of the Trays and the or Brock or whoever. No, I think we want to try again. And I think that a lot of me says that I just want to run it back because I think that with Shanny learning what he did and having a full season off season and everything with CMC, having time to integrate all those players, we're gonna have some new draftees. We're probably gonna have new free agent guys that we're gonna bring in. But I think that the core itself is there. The core itself is there, and that is what is going to carry the 49ers through. So when we talk about getting to a Super Bowl, to me it's all about health. It's all about health and being a lot of it is luck. I know we don't like to make it about luck and that it has something quantifiable, but the reality is it's a lot of luck involved. And the 49ers have to be lucky enough to stay healthy. That's going to be the key. But with that being said, the Super Bowl was what the Super Bowl was, and Chiefs are champions again, two-time. And the Eagles couldn't have happened to a nicer franchise. Couldn't have happened to a nice they had to take the L, and they're just like they're sitting on the couch with the rest of us now. And it's gonna be a fun game next year whenever they play them. I'd be shocked if it wasn't week 1. So but with that being said, there was a couple other headlines like that I saw come across today, and the first one I wanted to go over was Brock's surgery that's supposed to happen on the 22nd, I believe, and what what do we do? If what does the 49ers do if the a hybrid surgery? Like, what do they do? Uh, and Oh, Bebop says he's gonna be at the game. Uh he's gonna be at the game next season. So good for you, bro. I wish I for work I can't. I don't have time to travel a lot, but it's but yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be an interesting matchup because I think the Eagles are going to lose a bunch of people in this offseason. And I think that they're going to lose a lot of starters because they're not going to be able to. What do they do with Jalen Hurts? I mean, are they going to pay him? Like what goes there? There's so many questions regarding that team. And are they equipped to go back and go for another? The 49ers are set up for years to come, at least the next couple. And if Lance or Brock Purdy hit and but especially Lance, if Lance hits, yeah, the 49ers are set up for years to come if that's the case. And so I just think that this is a team that we should be preparing ourselves to be pleasantly surprised by next day, as long as they can keep guys healthy. That's really what it's all about. And Bebop says 49 always work their magic. Always work their magic in the draft, during the draft and off season. They never just. I agree. Now, some other people would say that they don't work their magic and that they don't get the guys that people necessarily want, and it's uh, like they would rather see them find other parts. And I think everybody at this point wants to see them. Uh, Mike McGlinchey's not. They bring him back because I think it's going to cost too much. So, do you do what everybody keep talking about right now, which is kick Burford out to the right tackle spot, and then try and find a guard to replace him, which is much more feasible and probably much less expensive? That is entirely an option. It depends on what the 49ers plan is for Burford, and who knows, honestly. Because this is the thing. We're dealing with Shanny's ego here. Shanny has never, uh, he has never valued pass blocking. Never. And he's all about the run blocking. And then if he gets past good pass blocking, he thinks that the timing of his plays should kind of like be all they got to do is block for a couple seconds. They don't have to block an ended amount of time. And that's fine when it works, but it's not always going to work. And I would like to see them go after some pass protection and solidify that. For me, it's not the right tackle spot. For me, it's the center spot. I think that is the spot that they need to solidify. Is Randall the starter for the foreseeable future? It depends on how you view they've been talking about Nick Zakel in that spot. Been talking about Poe in that spot. Is he on the roster at all? I think that there's out there in free agency right now that that they could go and get, but now you're talking about spending money. And do they necessarily want to spend money to fortify that line and not try and do it from in-house? I'm not entirely sure that Shanny wants to do that. I think a little shell shocked from Bergs and the even Alex bringing him in for a season and then him just leaving. That might be a thing. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if the 49ers do not do what you expect them to do. So, like I said, I do apologize for the uh the visual today. It's I don't know what's going on. Restarted my that's why I was late getting on, was because my the computer just was really slow, and the internet just was really running really slow. So it's and I got a good plan. So I don't know and I'm right next to the router. So I couldn't, but I apologize. Hopefully you guys are getting all the sound. And but let's get back to another aspect of things that the people were talking about. Brock Purdy, I wanted to talk about that surgery. What do they do if he ends up having to go into the seat? He's not back before the season starts. If it's a hybrid surgery, what happens? Brian in the house. Appreciate you coming through, fam. Like uh like I said earlier, sorry about the visual, but yeah, the internet is not working too great for me right now. But yeah, what do they do? Because if he's you need a backup, a vet, at least a veteran backup to back up Trey, I think. Or do they draft someone? I think these are all questions that we're not going to find out until after free agency. Obviously, if they don't get a guy in free agency, then odds are that they're going to probably try and draft somebody, or they're waiting for somebody to just fall by the wayside and pick them up off the scrap heap. But I think that you would want to the free agent like right away and get them involved in the offense, have to learn the offense. We all saw what happened last year, and that obviously we need to be ready. The 49ers need to be ready. But yeah, health. I'm gonna keep going back to health. I think health is the number one thing that the 49ers need to work on is just keeping their guys healthy and getting through this long grind of a season. Guys get hurt, but we need they desperately need to stay away from those season-ending quarterback injuries. It's nicked up. It's another thing to get knocked out, and like they've been getting knocked out. So uh, it is what it is. But going into that, there's an option out there today. Derek Carr, and I mean, before you kill me, Derek Carr, he he basically told the team that he's going to veto any trade that they offer, and he wants to be released. So with that situation, that means that he could go anywhere he wants for however he wants. If if he was to give Niners a discount, or who's to say, honestly, who's to say that he hasn't already been talking to a team? But and the 49ers keep everything so tight-lipped. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised at anything at this point with where the 49ers and Shanny and Lynch are concerned. So, but would we welcome a Derek Carr into the fold if they could get him for cheap? I I wonder. I wonder if we had or would that put too much pressure on Lance? I think that it might be an option if they found out that Brock Purdy had to have the hybrid surgery and he was going to be out for a significant amount of time. Mariah in the house. Uh, but Bryant says he thinks that Carr could be a really good as a QB. I think it's system. I don't think he's ever had a coach really believe in him, and and but I don't know if this is the time, if this is the team that he needs to go to where there's automatic expectations either. So it's yeah, it is what it is. I just think that the only way that happens, I think, is if Brock has ends up having to have the hybrid surgery and he's out for the whole season. Or deep into even halfway through the season. I think that could be an option. But because I don't think that Jimmy will be back. Uh, Kyle told you that for no reason is he going to be back. I believe Kyle. I trust when Kyle did it so fast. That tells me he's not going to be there. So yeah, it is what it. But like I said, I think the only way Carr is coming is for that reason, is if Brock's surgery is more serious. But otherwise, he if that happened, then I could see it, just because that would be somebody to push Trey. And because I think that's what Trey needs, is somebody to push him and to create a sense of urgency. I'm really pro Trey. I really succeed. I don't want this regime to have a failed attempt at finding at drafting a franchise quarterback. I just don't want to see that, because that is a waste of 3 first round picks if that is the case. But and I have a lot of faith in Lance. I think he's a really smart kid, really great kid. The more you hear him speak, the more confidence I have that he could get it done in time. I just I just don't know how much time he actually has to get it all together. The fan base is already restless. Not that the 49ers ever listen to the fan base, but the fan base is getting restless. I think that the coaching staff is getting restless, including Shanny and Lynch. I think you heard it in Lynch's voice when he's saying that Trey has to stay healthy. Uh, I think that you have to trust these guys at their word. No matter what we think and what we think of those players, we have to pay attention to what to figure out what they're going to do. We have to pay attention to what they're saying, and I really think that is an act that they're looking at. Uh, it's an unfortunate situation for Trey. Like I think he needs, and now we're 2 years in, and he's only had 4 games. He this kid needs reps desperately to get confidence and build the uh building his skill set, working on his like I want to see him get used to the mechanics of being a pro quarterback. And the only way it's going to happen is he's got to get the live bullets thrown at him. So, but we're hoping with through all hope like that's what happens because I think Trey obviously has the most upside of any option, including Carr. Like, that he is the best chance that we have at having a true franchise quarterback and maybe having a guy that has the ability to to put teams to put teams on their heels and an extra element that they have to game plan for. 49ers already have so many weapons. They just need but you can see as many weapons as you have in today's league, you got to have that guy that can make those one or two throws that you got to have. And I had been hesitant to say that you needed it, but we're seeing it that you need it. He doesn't have to be a world beater, but he has to have the ability to be able to get away from pressure, to get away to make the clutch plays a game that can get you over the hump. You got to have it against these better against the teams that because you can get to the season, you can get to the playoffs, but at some point you're going to face a team that has just a little bit too much for a quarterback that doesn't have that ability. So I'm hoping it's Trey. I really am. I really like the kid, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that like him. I know there's a lot of people that don't, but I'm hoping that yeah, I'm really hoping that it just works out. But basketball son, appreciate you coming through, man. He asked the question: any chance you guys move on from Trey for a guy like Rodgers? No, absolutely not. Aaron Rodgers says that he doesn't want to come, didn't want to come, right? Like, and it's it's better for us. Like, I don't like anything about Aaron Rodgers. Not that he doesn't have ability, not that he's not a good quarterback. I don't like the vibe. I just that's me personally. I can't really say that he's a bad quarterback or that he wouldn't work in this system. I think that he might, but I think that this is a team, and I think he is more of a me guy, in my opinion. For speaking on his body language and the way that he carries himself, that's just me, and it's not putting that on him, but that's just me. I think that he is more of a me guy, and I mean just looking at the way he's carrying himself with his team, yeah, I don't want that anywhere near this culture. I think that this culture is a great culture that Shanny's built, and I don't want anything messing with that. But Santa Clara era came through. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. He says we can't afford Jimmy. Uh, I said earlier today I got into it with a couple of people on Twitter about Jimmy and we're gonna make this quick, but it's okay. The whole Jimmy thing, right? The uh we're talking about, oh well, we just need to bring Jimmy back for, and I heard guys saying to bring him back for like 10 mil. And let me make something very clear. If anybody goes to Spotrac, uh they're very accurate a lot of the times on what the market value is for positions. And right now, right now they have Jimmy Garoppolo valued at 34.8 mil a year. That's the going rate. Do I think he's going to get that? I don't. I don't. I think that he's going to end up getting much less than 34.8 million, but it's still going to be more than 10. I think that it's going to be close to 20 for at least a year or two. I don't think the 49ers want to pay that. That's my personal opinion on it. I just don't think that the 49ers want to pay that amount. And Santa Clara says, yeah, 22 to 24 mil. It might get that high. But and you got to take this into account too. The salary cap is supposed to explode this season, this off season. So it's entirely possible that an arms race could stop. There's a lot of teams out there that are a quarterback away, and Jimmy is known as a winner. He's a winner. So don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if that's what happens. That somebody overpays. There's a lot of bad teams out there that need some consistency in their building. And if Jimmy gives you nothing else, he gives you consistency. I think he's a mid-tier quarterback, a starting quarterback, but I do think he's a starting level quarterback. Let's just keep it real. I don't think that he is what the 49ers need, but I'm sure that there is another team out there that could use his services to not to solidify, but I think that he's a really good stopgap option. And you could pay him for a couple of years and draft somebody to sit behind him and have him mentor that guy. But I think that Jimmy's going to get quite a few dollars over the next 2 to 3 seasons, like for that reason. For that reason alone, is because he's going to be, I think he's a good stopgap option. That's just my opinion on him. But with that being said, we're about to get out of here. Remember, we're gonna have these shows Monday through Thursday. 30. They're gonna be about a half an hour. So uh, I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna get. We're not gonna try and fit everything in every day, but I do want to make the commitment to you guys that we are going to have a lot of content, a lot of talk about free agency coming up, a lot of talk about the draft coming up. It's the off season. There's going to be, and it's the 49ers. So, there's going to be all kinds of storylines. I hope you guys are here for it. But once again, you can find this show on the Niner Fanatic Podcast on YouTube. You can find it on Twitter. You can find it on Facebook. You can also if you don't want to look at my face, you can always get the audio version anywhere where you can get your audio podcast. And I don't care where you get it, you just get it. And one more time, like, share, please subscribe to the channel. Please tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends every week. Tell a friend to subscribe to the channel. I need all my family and friends to get this. I want to build this community for you guys. We're going to have some call-in shows. I want to get you guys as involved as I possibly can in this show, because that I'm building the Niner Fanatic. It's going to be the Niner Fanatic community. That's really what I want to build with this. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here, but I will be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow, and I'll have a whole bunch of more things to talk about: free agency and the draft, what the 49ers are looking for in that, like who they could get, who we could see coming up through the ranks in the coaching staff. I think that's an interesting storyline because we're losing a couple more guys, losing Bobby Slowick and there was another guy that we lost. But I think that's an interesting storyline also. So I hope you guys are here for it. But with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, go Niners.